In the past, waiting to see the doctor to understand lab results didn't feel really good. I would see asterisks on the piece of paper, but then I only got about a 10-minute conversation with the doctor where she basically told me that everything was normal for my age. What does that even mean? And normal doesn't mean optimal. In doctor speak, that means basically that I'm declining roughly at the same pace as my peers. And for those of you who know me a bit better by now, that wasn't good enough for me. So I turned to AI to see if it could explain the results better than at a rushed visit at the doctor. Hi, I'm Chantal and welcome to AI for 50 Plus, born before Wi-Fi, owning AI. Today I'm going to share with you how two AI tools turned my raw lab data into a health superpowers report and gave me specific questions for my doctor for the areas where maybe it's not as great. It really helped me understand my own data and also to have a real meaningful conversation with my doctor. Now, in our last video, we audited our social circle, a tier 1 factor for longevity. And today we're moving from relationships to biology by decoding our blood work. And our blood work is really one of the easiest and most important way that we can track our cardiovascular risk, a tier 1 factor for longevity, but also to help us with chronic disease prevention, a tier 2 factor. And tier 2 factors are also super important. Now, if you want to check the ranked factors for both longevity and day-to-day well-being, they're not quite the same. Check video 1 of the series where I also show you how to set up those two notebooks. The link is in the description below. Let's see what's going on under the hood. We know that doctors are overworked and they're trained to look at active disease and not really at longevity. So we need to look at our information and our data with another lens, and that's where AI can really help you. Like in previous videos, I used Gemini, the first AI tool, to prepare the prompts that I'm going to bring hereafter in the second tool, NotebookLM. I'm in NotebookLM now in my longevity notebook, and you'll notice on the left here that there's a lot of research, either deep research reports or actual sources, and that's, of course, when we set up this notebook. The second thing I want to show you is you need to have in there also your different blood tests, x-rays. I have a mammogram in there as well, and you'll notice that they're all redacted because you don't want to have floating out there some information that can identify you. My last name I've redacted, address, social insurance number, my insurance policy number. So you remove all of that, and I show you how to do this in video 1 of the series. Now, once you have that, the other important document that you need in here is your daily journal. I have a Google Doc, and every day I fill it in. And normally you would, because I just synced it, you would have here a Google Drive icon and it's written sync. So you sync that before you use the prompt into the studio so that NotebookLM has all the most recent info. So that's what you need to do on this side. Once this is done, then you go into the studio side on the right here and you go into Infographic and you click, you don't touch anything here, you don't need to, and you paste the prompt that Gemini gave us here and you click on Generate. Now, before I show you the infographic, if you need one-to-one AI help, I'm offering AI clarity sessions for people over 50 or younger. So check out the details in the pinned comment or in the description. Using the Gemini prompt, this is what NotebookLM produced for the first output, the infographic. And it's great because you have proof here that it actually went into my blood test results and into my daily journal. For example, here, my insulin sensitivity is apparently elite, and that came from the blood test, and I found the exact number, so that's great. And here, my resting heart rate comes from my daily journal. I note that every day. So they have it here, and all the rest here, my other superpowers, well, it all came from the blood test result. And then on this side, you have the kryptonite, which is where I'm not as strong, and one of them is my non-HDL cholesterol, and that's the number actually that came from the blood work, and it raises the issue of muscle and bone actually after menopause. Of course, you have to be really careful. And you have this neat summary here where you have your strongest superpower and you have the 2 outliers that you can do something about. What a great way to really understand your blood work when you have something that is as visual and you see where you're really strong and where you're maybe not as great. Now, let me show you the other one, the dashboard, before we go to the questions for the doctor. The dashboard is right here. And the dashboard, I use the dashboard actually, and that's with the second prompt. I use the dashboard to prepare the questions for the doctor. And what I want to show here is that it puts your results, and in this case, it's only the kryptonite. It's only the negative part of your blood work. And it puts it into 3 buckets. The mitigated bucket, where maybe it's not as bad as you think because there's either other great markers that compensate for it, like in this case, or, and in this case as well, when there's something that can explain it, like fasting, for example. That's one of them. The other one, acute, looks really bad because it's red, but actually acute means that it might be something temporary that is happening because of an infection or something. So that's great to know as well. And the last one is actionable, which is a positive way of saying, please do something about this. So you have that here. Once you have that, let me show you the questions. Here we go. So I asked first in NotebookLM in the chat section in the middle, I said, here are the 3 outliers you actually highlighted in the dashboard, and prepare for me 2 questions per outlier so that I can talk to my doctor. And it gave me this very dense, very precise question, 2 for the cholesterol, 2 for the erythrocytes, and 2 for the hemoglobin. But then what I did, because I wanted it to be easier, I took all of them and I put them into ChatGPT, and I said, look, can you put this into a more simple question? And that's what it did. So for example, my non-HDL cholesterol is this level, but my triglyceride to HDL ratio is this. Which is more important? And what does that mean? And also the effect of extended fasting. Again, my non-HDL cholesterol is this, but I had been fasting for about 36 to 40 hours for a while before the test. So could that have impact my non-HDL cholesterol result? When I go and see my doctor, I have specific questions to ask. And of course, she's going to raise maybe other issues, and that's fine. But at least I'm ready to discuss with her and ask specific questions, and that's really helpful. Of course, AI is a researcher and not a physician, so you have to be careful with what it produces and gives you. You have to double check everything, and if it tells you to do something, you have to talk to your doctor first. But at least when you meet the doctor, you have a better understanding of your own results, and you have specific questions to ask so that you can be your own advocate. Because let's be honest, doctors are not infallible either, and sometimes you have to push a little. Next week, in video 6 of the series, I'm showing you the difference between what men and women should monitor for long-term health. See you there.